Irish used to be called Negroes. The Irish were actually enslaved, and many of them were sent to the Americas and the Caribbean. Which is why you have the accent in Jamaica sounding the same. A lot of Appalachia, a lot of Jamaica, and the Bahamas. They have Scottish names just popping out of nowhere. Or Irish. The Scots and the Irish, they were both enslaved. There has been a long history of indentured Irish servants even before the 1700s. So we have to start to look into the history of Ireland from the beginning. A lot of people from Ireland also have North African genes. This is because Tia Tephi, first Queen of Scotland, she was the tender twig of the daughter of Zedekiah. She left Jerusalem after the fall of the temple in 70 AD. She left with Jeremiah, the Stone of Scone, the Ark of the Covenant, and David's harp. Keep in mind, Ireland is represented by, you guessed it. So Tia Tephi, the tender twig, with Jeremiah and her other sister, sailed on over to the UK, but not before dropping off Tia's sister to Spain to help establish that dynasty and keep it going as well. Remember, this is royal Davidic blood, which was established in Scotland as the main seat of the King of David, or more so the House of David, his bloodline, his lineage, which will last forever, thus saith the Lord. This is also why you have the king and the queen bowing down to this stone of scone, this pillar or this stone of Jacob, and it's also why the queen returned it to Scotland in 2022, I believe. Which is funny because that's the same time and this huge power shift going back to the people. And remember that Scotland has the most powerful lords of all the land. And this is why there's so much fighting going on in the UK. But let's get back to our Irish-Scottish origins, our Hebraic origin. The Hebride Island, that name comes from the Hebrew. Even the Isles of Louis, or the Isles of Levi, that comes from the tribe of Levi. Which brings us to the next point. Levi, the tribe or the nation of Levi, is heavily and was heavily centered in Ireland, in Scotland. This is why we have the Hill of Tara, also known as the Hill of Torah. It goes back to the order of Melchizedek, which also represents all the law of the land, air, and water, not just water, Mr. BAR Association, which is exactly what has usurped the order, the original law for the people that was held in place by King David, a representative of Melchizedek. Remember, they have stolen this divine line, lineage, and group of people. And they created a false potato blight story to hijack and take over the priesthood of Levi. Remember that Levi is also known as Louis, and Levi, Louis, and the throne of David, they will last forever. But the prophecy goes, they went a-whoring after false Elohim. This is also why the Irish and the Scottish used to keep the Sabbath. They didn't eat pork back in the day, up until about the 1800s time period. This is when there was a whitewashing of history, just like how they removed the missing book of Acts, where Paul, or Shaul, he journeyed to Spain and then to Britain. From there he met the Druids and he started to teach the people the Torah. It says that the Druids, they knew that they were descendants of the Yahudim of the tribe of Judah, because it's Levi, Judah, and Dan in the Irish, Scottish regions. Anyways, it says that they fell down, they thanked Paul, and they started to follow the Torah of their ancestors. The Torah of Jeremiah, Jeremiah being buried in the hill, or on the hill of Torah. Tara, Tia Tephi, the tender twig, that carried the bloodline of David, which goes back to even Robert the Bruce and the story of Braveheart, the guarding of the Torah, which also equals the guarding of the true lineage of the next person who is supposed to be the king. We know that that royal FAM, they're a bunch of snakes, just like Dan. And they sold out, and they started to practice the black magic, and they stole the nation of Levi. This is why every king and queen has to bow down to the order of Melchizedek. Just as Levi was in the loins of his daddy when Abraham blessed and was blessed by Melchizedek. Remember, this is an eternal law. Whoever is under the order of Melchizedek, then sit at my right hand, and I'll make your enemies, the judges, the lawyers, the false BAR association. I'll make them my footstool. Thus saith the Lord.